Well, guys, doing a little bit of a unboxing today. So, never really thought I'd be sitting here doing this video at all. And thanks to my good friend Demon78 for letting me use his camera.
Yep, you're a lucky luck boy.
There's a joker right over here behind the camera.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I honestly really think, and this is going to even come as a surprise to the man behind the camera sitting over here, that this is actually a very, very controversial because of what this really is.
He's not wrong. I know what he's talking about.
The price for one of these to its performance is, from all the research I've done and from testimonies from other people across the internet, of Reddit stories that I have read, this, I'm going to be completely honest with you, is not worth the money. It's not. But because, here's the thing. From all the other gaming handhelds, the price comparison, this is the best buy that you can possibly get. This right here is the ROG Ally X. It is by far the most powerful that you can possibly get for the money. The MSI Claw coming in at around $200 to $300 more than this. Versus if you buy this from Best Buy, you're getting this for $1,000. The MSI Claw, you are going to pay anywhere in the ballpark of, including tax, about $1,300 to $1,500. Now, is there anything more powerful than this? Yes. There is the GPD Win 5, which has the Halo Strix, or the Strix Halo, however you want to say it, but you're going to be paying $2,500 for that thing. To me, that's not worth the money. Most people cannot buy that. That's where these come in. Being the $1,000 price mark, in all honesty, it's the best buy that you can possibly get with the Z2 Extreme. The Z2 Extreme has the RX 890M. The Strix Halo uses the 8060S GPU. Yes, it may have double performance, but in reality, real world scenario, you're not going to get that. That's perfect world. In reality, it might be 70% more performance. It doesn't equal double to triple the price tag worth of performance, no. But, without further ado, the unboxing.
Finally!
Right off the bat, the box itself, they actually put some decent time into designing this. I can tell you that right off the bat. It's not a cheap box by any means. And some of these brands, from what I've seen, the type of boxes that they use, usually they're not the best by any means. But I'm not going to complain because I am usually an MSI person. I would usually recommend MSI, but MSI, in my opinion, has been going downhill lately. So, and I've always known other content creators like Jay's 2 Cents to always like Asus until the recent things that they've done that turned Jay away from it, but I'm seeing that Asus is actually making a really good attempt to actually bring back loyalty. So that's the reason why I recommended both of us to go with the route of the ROG Ally. Plus also, I am kind of a little bit more on the market of AMD than Intel because of all the recent debacles that have gone with that I am not willing to allow us to invest in Intel until they get their shit together. Once they prove that they have got their shit together, then that'd be a whole other story. But until then, here we are. So, now that I got this open, they actually, as I said, they really actually put some decent effort into the box. Like, it's not cheap. Right off the bat, as soon as you open this, you immediately get a card here that basically...
Look at the top.
Yeah. So, actually, scratch that. He's correct. The very first thing you get right here is this. So, this is some kind of foam stand, I want to say, for it. Yeah, this is a type of stand for it. Well, it's cardboard, but...
And from what I've seen on people unboxing this, they don't like the cheap stand that comes with it.
Yes, I do have to agree with this. This is by far a very, very cheap stand. Like, this is one of those things that I feel they could have just left out. Asus, if you ever see this, get your shit together. As I said, the box itself, this is not cheap cardboard. That stand is cheap-ass cardboard, not this. So, moving on, this right here, they actually give you a bit of a layout for like the charger and whatnot as to where on the Ally itself to plug your stuff into. It's a good, nice to have, like, right off the bat, because I have seen other brands not do this, and this is something that I don't like, that these other brands don't do. On the back of this, they do give QR codes, but I'm not going to show that, just for reasons. Next thing you get is the Ally itself. It does come with a cover on it. And at first, this thing is fucking heavy. Very, very fucking heavy for a handheld. If I had to guess, this thing is almost double the weight of a Switch or a Switch 2. So if that's something that is going to be a determining factor, then this may not be for you. I would highly suggest sticking directly with the Switch, because those are a lot lighter. Most gaming handhelds will be a lot heavier unless it's specifically the Switch. They have these built-in pull tabs right here to help them out, which is nice. In this is your standard... I want to say these are guides of some form. In search of criminal. Yeah, can't speak. Incredible. So this is just going to be your like the warranty guides, if I'm ahead to guess. This right here, I want to say, yep, just pulls up and out, if I had to guess. Yep. Okay, so this is definitely a little bit heavier, so I'm willing to bet that this is the charger. And opening it, it is the charger. Research that I have done, and again, testimonies I've read, that the Ally can get upwards of 55 to 60 watts of draw power. So the type of brick that they had to put with this is going to be a substantial charging capability. But if you have any like wall charger that can provide like 120 watts, it should do. That's if you wanted to use your own. Otherwise, I would highly recommend just using the actual Asus branded chargers. Now there is some kind of protective covering on this. I'm not too entirely sure how they expect you to get this off without tearing it. It must be that that's the way they intended it to do that. Nope. right here. So there is some kind of seam on the back of this, unless this is a standard cover that stays on this, which I don't think it is. When you unbox yours, did you remove this covering?
I just tore mine, really.
Okay. So yes, as I thought, these do come off. This is, if I had to guess, yes, a 65 watt unit. So do be warned when it comes to these chargers. Anything over about 50 watts tends to get fairly hot. The higher up you go towards like 100, 140 watts, they get extremely hot. So when you are using this thing plugged in, I would highly recommend keeping this thing where it's not touching anything because of how hot this thing will get. Is there anything else that comes inside the box? I do not believe so. Anything? Nope. So this is the only thing, those are the only things that come in the box. As for the ally itself, yep, just you pull back the tab, and this does come right apart. Someone would say to do. Okay, after some much needed intervention.
2 very boring minutes later.
This is about, give or take, about 10-15 minutes later. His fucking camera damn near overheated. So, if you look at it, the exact layout is literally identical to the layout of an Xbox controller. The buttons are in exactly the same location. The layout of the joysticks, identical. Obviously, because of the fairly large screen, and it's 7 inches, I believe.
Yes, 7 inches.
Yes. The, like the Xbox buttons and whatnot is moved over here. You have your standard multifunction buttons on the sides right here, which fairly mimic how they're laid out on the standard Xbox controller. Your D-pad, same exact location.
The one button on there is for the control mode, which the ironic thing is that one button is the exact same logo as the Armory Crate application.
Yes, so now the Armory Crate function on these, any form of Asus gaming laptop, you will know what that button's for. It's to bring up the Armory Crate, so like if you're in game, it can bring up Armory Crate functions for fan speeds, and to really help control your laptop in more like a power user way, is what that's for. Now, right off the bat, these two right here, so I'm not sure if you can see them, but right here and right here above the multifunction buttons, there's a tiny little hole right there. These have 2 built-in microphones. I cannot attest to whether or not they sound good because I have not seen any videos personally of how they sound, so I cannot attest to that. The speakers in these, which is right here and right here, J2 Sense, I believe it was Nick, has done a video on these. He can tell you more if you go back to his own video about this. They're actually fairly good from what he says. One downside to this, the joysticks are not Hall effect at all. This is being recorded a little while after the initial recording for the unboxing. We did have a bit of a technical difficulties with the camera and whatnot when it came to the recording. So this is going to be inserted in the portion that we're missing. The portion that's missing with this right here, the joysticks are not Hall effect. Being the fact that they're not Hall effect for the price point of about, give or take, 1,000, 1,400, depending on where you buy it, it's kind of controversial because right on Asus's website, they actually sell the upgrade modules. Yes, you can pull this thing apart and put drop-in Hall effect joysticks. They're only $25. So for $25, why the fuck didn't Asus just drop that in there? I have no idea. For me, I'm going to run the potentiometers because if you actually feel them, they're quite nice. Like, they're not, you could tell they're not cheap potentiometers. But I'm going to run them for now, see if they're worth just dealing with as is, see if they start to get stick drift. If they get stick drift, I'm just going to buy the upgrade modules, drop those in there, be done with it. But as of right now, as of the time of this section of recording, I can tell you right now, the potentiometers that are in there are very, very nice. For most people, they're probably not going to have to worry about it unless you use the fuck out of them. Then they probably will get stick drift, even though they're really high-end modules. It is a very, very, very controversial for the price point. $25 on their website, and they didn't put them in there from factory. I can tell you right now, Gen 3 needs to have the Hall effects right out of the box. Like, otherwise, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Moving on from Hall effect joysticks, one thing. So this is going to apply to more people who really want to use this thing for what it's for, and what's kind of meant for, and like what it is. So right here, you have a USB 4.0 that is capable of both display, and I do think that is capable of power output. So it could be used for high-speed data transfer, running external drives, including, again, DisplayPort. You have a USB 3.2 for power in and getting high-speed data, so on. Your standard volume up, volume down. And here is something right here. This is a godsend for gamers. This right here is a micro USB that is capable, I want to say, of like 250 to 300 megabytes per second. So it could take some of the fastest micro USB drives out there. And a 3.5 millimeter audio jack that also does microphone. So it means if you want to hook up a headset that has a mic on it and play video games and have your Discord going in chat, more than capable of it. Obviously, being the fact that it runs Windows 11, you can also still use any form of wireless headset that you want to. On the back of it, there's not really much to speak of, other than the fact that it has your multifunction buttons right here, kind of very similar to a Elite controller without the second set. So this only has a one set of programmable keys right here. A standard Elite controller or other like high-end brands like Turtle Beach would have like two sets back here. There is only one set of actual Hall effect things on here, and that is these. Your triggers. These are Hall effect. Why they did not go with Hall effect out of the box, I have for the thumbsticks, I have no clue, but these are Hall effect. Going back to the joysticks, I'm going to be completely honest with you, these feel like 30 times better than a standard controller. These are a lot better. I did the research into it. These are actually like really, really high-end potentiometer style. So these will probably last you a lot longer. But overall, the quality of this, one thing that I do want to speak on.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
One thing I want to speak on is the screen itself. The screen itself on this is 1920 by 1080. At 7 inches, that is 313 pixels per inch. This will look 3 times better than 4K on a 27-inch monitor. And even Camo has attested to how clear it really is. He's only used it a little bit, but that's one of the notable things that he's told me. And that is specifically because of this pixel density being 313 pixels per square inch. It is an LCD. It is not an OLED. For $1,000, could they have put an OLED in here? Probably, and still kept it, but that would have really put this on the bare edge of them making money, which would have not made it worth them making it.
It's also an IPS pin touchscreen too.
Yes, it's not a VA. It's an IPS. So color the color correction is going to be absolutely insane. Like it's going to look extremely well. You really have nothing to worry about this thing looking off or something like that. Had it been a VA style monitor, it would have, the color saturation would have been more like an OLED. I'm not going to go further into that because I could go on a whole other video about between VA and IPS, but I'm not going to. Now, one of also the more notable things about the screen is the glass that is on it. This is not plastic. This is glass. And it's a very, very special type of glass. It is the Samsung Corning Gorilla Glass. If you have seen what Samsung phones are capable of going through and not breaking, this is going to be right in that same ballpark of being able to take a beating and keep going. With the Corning Gorilla Glass, you can still scratch them, but you don't have much more to worry about, like, say, other handheld devices like the Switch. From everything I read, the Switch doesn't use a Gorilla Glass. They use their own composite glass that it is fairly scratch resistant, but it's not going to be as scratch resistant as this. But overall, out of the box, as I said, do I believe that this is worth the price? No. This is not $1,000 worth of equipment right here. In my personal opinion, had this been priced more around $700, I would say go out and buy this over basically anything else, because you're never going to get anything better than that at the price point. At $1,000, this is still the best bet. This is the best bang for your buck. But this is not $1,000 worth of equipment here. Matter of fact, the laptops that we both use are Asus. They are the Asus TUF A16 AMD Advantage. Specifically the 2024 version with the 7700S GPUs. Those are $1,000 worth of equipment. This is not.
800. It only makes 1,000 with our upgrades.
Modern pricing, they're about $1,500.
Oh, the model that we have,
yes,
still live is 800. No, I just looked at it recently.
No.
It's 800.
Nope. The exact ones that we have right now are $1,500. Just a little. Actually, I think they're just a little bit under right now because of some price drop that I saw in them. Those are still worth $1,000, mind you. This is not, because the performance of this puts the GPU around a 1660 or a 1650, somewhere in that range, being the 890M. The MSI Claw is a little bit closer to the $1,000 range as to performance-wise in certain aspects because of what the Intel CPU in that is capable of in some form of APU. I don't remember the exact specs on it, but that's more closer to it, but this is still your better buy. But overall, you can't beat it. So, correction, apparently you can still get these for $860. Any of the ads I've seen put them at around $1,100 to $1,300. So, in reality, as I said before, this is not $1,000 worth of equipment.
Oh, one thing I'd like to add in here real quick. The reason why he's saying that they're about $1,600, that's for the one that comes with the 32 gigabytes with the 1 terabyte SSD. We have the one that comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM and only 512 gigabytes of storage. That's what makes it 860. But then you input your own storage and then you upgrade your RAM. It only comes out to be $1,000 overall.
Yes. But again, this right here for its performance, do not expect the price to performance range to be in your favor on this thing. Will it still work extremely well for most people?
In short, simple term, it's basically the best bang for it.
Yes. It does come with 24 gigabytes of LPDDR5X memory. That is shared between both the CPU and the GPU. It is all on one die, is classified as an APU, as an accelerated processing unit. In the Armory crate, you can go through and dedicate more RAM to either the CPU or the GPU as you see fit to do it. So you do have that to be cautious of depending on the title that you want to play. Do I think they probably should have thrown more in there? Yes, I honestly think they probably should have gone probably closer to 32 gigabytes. It probably would have raised the price a little bit more, but they could have definitely got away with it without doing that. Honestly, this, as I said many times, this is your best bang for the buck, and I'm really glad to actually be able to do this video because I believe in bringing a more down-to-earth review to stuff like this because I think that the YouTube market, in a sense, should I say, is a lot more kind of jaded and washed out with people who have done this for years, and that's their career. They're really used to being able to buy just basically anything. This review is coming from a person who is more down to earth in a sense as to who is going to watch this video. Do I believe this is a good buy? This is your best buy that you can get for the price. If you can't, afford, like a $1,500 or, $2,000 gaming laptop, and you want something that's going to be portable, this is what to buy. Obviously, you have to be mindful of your settings in your games that you play. But with a 313 pixels per inch display, the medium settings are going to look absolutely amazing. You have nothing to worry about with that. Without further ado, I hope this this unboxing brings some useful information to you guys. See you on the next one. WildLand Entertainment, signing off.